Today's High Performance Podcast is brought to you by Josh Phegan Digital. It's where you'll find our incredible short courses. In under 60 minutes, you'll grow all the key skills, covering specific areas like how to hire an assistant, grow a team, to list better properties, to grow better fees, and to master your pipeline. Welcome to High Performance, the podcast featuring Josh Phegan and Alexander Phillips. Alexander, today we're going to have a great conversation. Inside of any residential real estate career, there's going to be some turning points. Now, these turning points might be really exciting. They might also come through adversity. If you have a quick look, Alex, about some of the turning points on, when things actually really started to go well for you, what do you reckon that you would highlight as being the important points inside of your career?
Josh, probably it was a couple of very well-run campaigns that we did that were back-to-back in Waverley and Bronte, where we've got big market shares that then allowed us to keep building our database. We had a really good flow from that allowed us to just build our momentum into the marketplace that we're trying to get into. But a lot of that came though from the 5 years before of the building the database, managing it, consistently calling it, progressing people, giving them relevant information. So it was a turning point, but there was a lot of hard work done beforehand, and consistently we still do all the same that we did, with those properties where both of those properties were ones that were put on via really good buyer work, and yes, both those vendors didn't buy through us; they bought through other agents, but they wanted to use us because they felt obligated because of how much service we gave them.
There's a great conversation in there that ultimately sometimes you have adversity that happens to you, and sometimes you just find a moment of success and then you continue to roll on with that, but it's all the work that got you up to that point that's going to make a massive difference on what you got to do after it. I think about, for your career, when you made the decision to put Prue Kelly into the business, I think about having a second and a third agent join the team. I think about the evolution and the movement into PPD. I think about, the movement and the evolution to selling prior to auction. The movement and the evolution to actually getting to a certain number of open for inspections on a Saturday. You might have had a mindset at one point that 6 was a lot, and then 12 was a lot, and then, 18 was a lot, and 20 was a lot. But what you've actually now learned is that ultimately every single time that turning point happened, it was either a person or a system that you had to put in play in order to be able to run the team and run the business at that level. Give us some ideas and some thoughts as thinking through some of those moments on why they helped to be able to get the business to a different level and to be able to maintain at that level and then continue to grow.
It's definitely trying to maintain it. That's probably the hardest part to keep. We're disappointed if we don't have 20 opens on a weekend. Like we want, we'd love to be, running at 30 plus. That's when we feel like we're like at, not full capacity, but like run off our feet, which is the way we like to be. So we know that there's certain systems and actions that we have to do each week to ensure that's where we're going to get to, and that's where we're going to stay all year. And yes, it does come down to having the right team, the right mentality, pushing those team members. That's where we're probably cut above our competitors. Is the team is just so far superior than anyone in the marketplace that we're able to do the volume that we do. But yes, there's been many turning points. Which is probably something I've never really sort of thought about, but something of what you've just said, it does all those things you've just said, putting on Prue, putting on a different associate, building the team, selling prior to auction, running more auctions, not doing off market, doing all marketing campaigns have definitely been all those elements have added to our success of where we're at today.
And the interesting thing is you could never imagine a business now without a head of operations, or a business again without having an additional salesperson, right?
Correct.
And it's so funny though, because you've got other people that are like on the verge of thinking about whether or not they should. And it's like, guys, like honestly, once the business kicks, you're going to need that infrastructure. So you either got to invest ahead of the curve or you've got to make the decision to go there. And I always think about that with key personnel inside of your team. If they left your business, would you still continue? Of course you would. No, there'd be, probably 24 or 48 hours where you go, geez, what am I going to do? And is this really worthwhile doing? But after that, you kick straight back into gear because you've got customers to serve. So it's actually up to you to go and set the vision and to make that decision to go and do it. This is the interesting thing in watching others and what they got to do. If you don't actually use that fuel and when you've got to run on to then go and grow the team, then you just never do it. And you kind of see agents who do that where they have a great run and then all of a sudden they just drop straight back because they forget the daily disciplines of what it takes to be able to maintain that level of momentum, right? So it's thinking a little bit about like the call sessions that you're doing, getting the appointments right, getting the market appraisal numbers, getting the listing appointment numbers. How important is it to still look at those metrics to then make sure the team continues to grow?
We know that we have to do a certain amount of appraisals each month to hit the numbers that we do, and that's what it's going to come down to, is the amount of appraisals we're doing, and we know we're going to only list 60% of them. So those numbers need to be, tracking it for sort of 40 to 60 each month to ensure that we're at, hitting 200 plus sales per annum.
And if you do that, you maintain the consistency, everything else changes.